We're joined right now by billionaire investor Wilbur Ross, chairman and CEO of WL Ross, who's in Singapore for change. We usually talk to him live out of the U.S., but it's great to see you in person, sir.
Good to be with you.
Thank you for coming. And I guess, look, no surprise what we're going to talk to you about.
Right.
The news flow, Lehman going to the wall, or rather the Fed's authorities letting it go to the wall. Any surprise to you?
No, I think Secretary Paulson had made clear after the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that they were no longer going to be just willy-nilly saving everything. Okay. I think he made the right decision on Fannie and Freddie. I don't know enough about what will be the eventual outcome of Lehman to comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, what we've been reporting so far this morning, of course, the big risks is unwinding of Lehman's exposure in terms of derivatives, the CDSs, credit default swaps, as well as offloading of troubled assets, including commercial real estate. Right. That could just have an awful spillover effect. Everybody else down the line with similar assets is going to be forced to mark down their values as well.
Well, my understanding from my trading desk in New York is that there are a lot of unwinds occurring right now, even though it's a Sunday in New York.
Okay. I mean, they had this extraordinary trading session Sunday, the derivatives traders, but so far not really how much business got done in terms of trying to match or offload their exposure to Lehman. CDS is about $1 billion worth, but why is that, do you think?
Well, it's complicated because there are people in between trades. People are reversing trades with each other. So getting to a netting out in the absence of a formal exchange, which would have done it day by day, now tracing it through piece by piece is a complicated process. Yeah. I believe that's why they had the extraordinary session today.
Indeed. We had comments out from former Fed Chief Alan Greenspan overnight saying that, look, more bank failures, it's going to happen. What do you make of this? I mean, with Fannie and Freddie, perhaps it was necessary to avoid systemic risk, but then, it raises the whole moral hazard question again. This time, the Feds are letting Lehman go to the wall, and if Greenspan is right, there are more to come. This is worrying.
Well, we believe that there may be 1,000 U.S. banks fail before we get through with this crisis. So
1,000?
Yeah. Well, remember, there were quite a lot that failed in the 1990s in the savings and loan crisis, and I believe this is a much more severe problem than that one was.
Mr. Ross, it may seem a little bit fatuous to ask this question in an environment where people are losing their jobs and their homes, but are there any opportunities when you look at the distressed financial assets from an investment point of view?
Well, there are. We already have become the second largest servicer of subprime mortgages. We're the second largest after Countrywide, having purchased from H&R Block their option one and having purchased American Home Mortgage plus some smaller ones. We believe that's a business that's essential, that will continue, and that actually will thrive as the problems percolate through the mortgage industry. We also have made it clear that at some point we will be buying a depository institution. We had felt, frankly, that some of the earlier rescue attempts were a bit premature and perhaps underestimated the size of the hole. But if we're right that something like 1,000 regional banks will fail, there'll be plenty of opportunity in coming months.
Specifically, what kinds of banks would you be interested in getting into or picking up?
What we're really interested in are ones that have a good, solid, sticky deposit base, because we think one aftermath of this whole capital markets crisis will be that funding sources are going to become very, very valuable. It no longer will be the case that any company can just hit the capital markets.
Yeah. Mr. Ross, very good to talk to you, sir. Thank you for the time.
It's good to be here in person and to meet you, not just over the TV.
Indeed, our pleasure. Wilbur Ross, they're the billionaire financier, talking to us right here live at our Asia headquarters.